The map wasn't supposed to exist, and yet, in 1897, a forgotten trunk in a New England attic revealed something that would challenge everything Americans believed about their early history. The discovery happened in the small coastal town of Rockport, Massachusetts, an area known for fishermen, quiet harbors, and old families whose ancestors had lived there since the colonial days. When 74-year-old Clara Whitcomb passed away, her relatives began sorting through the crumbling Victorian house she left behind. Most of it was dust, letters, and furniture too old to keep. But in the attic, beneath a sagging beam, they found a heavy wooden trunk sealed with copper bands. On its lid was a date, 1682. At first, the family assumed it was just another box of old clothing or books. But when they pried it open, wrapped in linen and animal skin, they found a collection of objects that seemed impossibly out of place. Bronze instruments shaped like early navigation tools, a journal written in archaic English, and a map that no historian had ever seen before. The map didn't show the United States as we know it. Instead, it displayed the eastern coastline, New England down to Virginia, marked with strange symbols, paths leading deep into the forests, and a note scrawled in the corner, "Paths of the Norsemen." The family contacted the local historical society. Within days, experts arrived, stunned by what they saw. The journal belonged to a man named Jonathan Markham, a colonial explorer who lived decades before the American Revolution. But Markham claimed something extraordinary, something no one had ever read in any colonial record. According to his journal, during the winter of 1681, Markham's trade party rescued a group of men from a shipwreck off the coast of present-day Maine. These survivors, Markham wrote, spake a tongue of the north, like that of Icelandic sailors, and carried with them relics and tokens of voyages made to these shores long before the coming of the English. Historians had long debated whether Viking explorers beyond Leif Erikson ever made permanent contact with indigenous tribes along the American coast. But Markham's journal went further. He wrote that these shipwrecked men were descendants of Norse explorers who had settled in hidden inland communities generations earlier, blending with local tribes and maintaining fragments of their old traditions. According to the journal, Markham spent weeks with them, learning their stories. They spoke of stone structures deep in the forests, of runic carvings along river paths, and of roots passed down for nearly 6 centuries. Markham documented these stories meticulously, yet for reasons unknown, none of this information appeared in any official colonial archive. The most shocking section of the journal described a site the Norse descendants guided him to, a ridge overlooking a valley in what is now New Hampshire. There, beneath layers of moss and earth, they showed him a series of carved stones arranged in a pattern that matched early Norse astronomical markers. Markham sketched the stones in his map, noting their position with surprising accuracy. He wrote, "These stones were raised by those who crossed the Western Sea long before any crown laid claim to these lands." But why did no one know about this? Why was the journal hidden in a trunk for more than 2 centuries? One theory suggests that Markham feared political consequences. Another believes the colonial government suppressed unusual claims that didn't align with English territorial narratives. Whatever the truth, the documents remained locked away until their rediscovery in the attic. After the trunk's unveiling, researchers attempted to follow Markham's map into New Hampshire's forests. They found unusual formations, stone rows, chambers, and alignments that some experts had previously dismissed as farming structures. But the carvings Markham described were too eroded to confirm anything with certainty. Even today, historians argue over whether Markham encountered genuine Norse descendants or misinterpreted indigenous oral traditions. Some say he created an elaborate story to increase his own importance. Others insist the consistency of the journal's detail is too precise to ignore. Yet the most haunting line appears on the last page. They told me their people were preparing to leave, returning to the forests where no man may follow. I fear that soon nothing of them shall remain. No trace of those people has ever been found. The trunk, the tools, and the journal now sit in a climate-controlled room at the Rockport Historical Museum. Objects that raise more questions than answers. But for many Americans, the discovery rekindled an old fascination. What other forgotten chapters of American history still lie hidden in the attics, forests, and lost pages of the past?